This evening we are celebrating accomplished music programs, exceptional staff, and valued community partners. We plan to enjoy this part of the meeting as we always do, and it's such an opportunity to recognize excellence and close relationships with all the people who help our students. So Poudre School District's Executive Director of Communications, Madeline Noblet, will lead tonight's recognitions. Thank you, Madeline.
Thank you. Good evening, directors of the board, Dr. Smizer, members of cabinet, and everybody gathered here. Like Dr. Smizer said, we have, as we do many meetings, very, very exciting things to celebrate in the areas of academic excellence and music. I would like to welcome up first my colleague Melissa Flail, the music curriculum facilitator, to speak about and honor our community music partners. And at this time, I'd like to welcome Director Draper up, who will present those recognitions. So, Ms. Flail, if you'd like to join me.
Good evening, and thank you so much for being here. I know we have a lot of our music teachers here tonight and also our community partners, but I always want to thank our district leadership and our Board of Education for their fervent support of music and the arts in our district. It's so important to our students, and we as music teachers are especially passionate about that, but I think a lot of people recognize the importance, and so thank you for giving us this time tonight. I'd like to start with our community partners, and I would first like to call up Eric and Lisa Adzit of the Kayla Foundation. Eric and Lisa have been funding music programs in our schools for years. They have the Kayla Foundation, which they started in honor of their daughter Kayla Adzit's memory. Keep her memory alive. She loved music. She wanted everyone to be able to participate in music, and so they have started their foundation, and they grant amounts up to $500 per semester to any school in the district who applies for music, with the particular goal of allowing students who couldn't otherwise afford to be in music to do that, whether that be for instrument rentals or supplies, uniforms. I know at Cache La Poudre Elementary, where I teach half-time, I've received several grants for them. Several is small, almost every semester since I've applied, to help pay for choir t-shirts, to help pay for sheet music, recorders for all of our 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders so that they can play them in school and then take them home after 5th grade and have that as a start to hopefully pursuing either instrumental music or choral music in their secondary school. So I just want to thank Eric and Lisa for being such great supporters of music in our schools and for their generous financial support, but also for really keeping their daughter's memory alive. Thank you. Next, I would like to ask Mike and Carol Stajdahar to come up. The Stajdahars also have established the Christy Stajdahar Music Fund in memory of their daughter, who was a participant in music at Fort Collins High School, unfortunately passed away, and they have wanted also to keep her memory alive by supporting music. Initially, they supported students who could not afford private lessons, and then there were some logistical problems with that, and so we strategized about some other needs, and now they support instrument repair for our secondary schools, and each year they grant us an amount that we are able to offer out to the schools who always have more instrument repair needs than what they can afford. And Mike and Carol have been amazing in their support and have just said, you know, find out where the need is. We're happy to support it wherever that need is. And so I want to thank them again for keeping their daughter's memory alive through the love of music and through allowing students to be participating in music, have instruments that are in good repair, and to support our schools. So thank you. And of course, when I mention, you know, my appreciation for our school board and our district leadership supporting music and the arts so much, we also have a community that supports that so much through music portions of mill levy elections, but you also see it in the various foundations around town. And one of the biggest names in that is Bohemian Foundation. So I'd like to invite up Riley Phipps and Cheryl Zimlick from Bohemian Foundation. Bohemian Foundation, as you know, supports Bohemian Nights, New West Fest, a lot of popular music ventures and venues throughout Fort Collins, the New Washingtons, and they have allowed us to use it for certain events for our modern band programs. But their support of music in PSD has really been monumental. They've supported some outside organizations such as Little Kids Rock, which has in turn donated instruments and teacher training to our district, and we have a lot of modern band programs as a result of that. They've supported a nonprofit called Kid Pan Alley, who recently ran a residence for a week at Laurel Elementary School and had the classes writing songs. You may have seen that on the PSD webpage as a feature. But the biggest thing that I want to recognize Bohemian Foundation for tonight is a new grant that they created. Riley and his colleague Bryce worked closely with me and with our teachers to create the PSD Music Innovation Grant. And last year and this year, they have granted $25,000 to us for innovative and new music programs that will get more students involved in music making for more of their lives in a way that's relevant to them. And one of my colleagues on our committee choosing the grant recipients is here tonight, Colleen O'Rourke Werman. And so we have really put together a team, and they've been very gracious in allowing us to do that with people who from different areas of our district, technology, Stacy Ponslow, our grants coordinator, Colleen from language, culture, and equity, and so that we can really identify programs that will help students who are not benefiting from music right now. Some of the grants, both last year and this year, have been music technology to invite students in who may not have an interest in performing music, but want to be involved in it and want to have those other benefits. But a really interesting thing that has happened is that at Fossil Ridge last year and at Rocky this year, we've had librarians put in for grants to circulate ukuleles through their library. And they've started this huge ukulele revolution at their schools and gotten so many kids involved that just haven't been interested in performance, but are interested in hanging out with their friends and playing ukulele. So for all of those things and many more, they support early childhood music in our preschool programs in partnership with the Ceramus Foundation. So really pre-K through 12 and beyond with the music district and you could list things all night and not think of everything that they've done for us, for music in our town and in our school district. And so I wanted to take tonight to recognize them.
I just want to say on behalf of the board, thank you all so much for the generous donations that you make to our schools for music. It is such an important part of the education process. We know that music, everything from newborns to senior citizens with Alzheimer's, music is a vital, vital part of our lives. And so thank you so much for giving that to your students. Really appreciate that.
Before we move on, the tradition is to have everybody come and walk and shake hands with the board and staff. So if those of you who received awards would be willing, please come forward.
Thank you.
All the more reason.
All right, thank you. Now I will invite my colleague Melissa back up. She has so many exciting things to celebrate tonight in the world of music. Now we're going to recognize the music ensembles selected to perform at this year's Colorado Music Educator Association. So again, Miss Flail.
So the sign of the support that you all give to music, and really back and forth, it's reciprocal. So our music programs are excellent. We have great support. The support makes them excellent. The excellence garners the support. So we have a number of ensembles that were selected to perform at the Colorado Music Educators Association Clinic Conference at the Broadmoor in Colorado Springs this year. First, I want to just give a big thank you to our communications department who designed this beautiful program. Valerie Van Ryn is usually our point person and was again this year. Despite having a maternity leave right in the middle of that time, she put in a lot of time and got this ready for us, so I know the board members have this. And it lists our groups that performed and their programs, as well as various presenters from our district who also gave presentations at CMEA. But tonight we're going to recognize the directors of the performing ensembles. It's a huge honor to be selected to perform at CMEA. There are districts who may never have had a group be there to perform and may never have one. But we consistently have several, and this year we had 5. So I would like to begin with Fort Collins High School, Caitlin Miles. Caitlin, if you can come up. And Caitlin's group, Fort Collins High School a cappella, performed at CMEA. I was able to see that performance, and it was beautiful and fabulous. And I know that at Fort Collins High School, and I see Mark Eversole is here too, they've made so much effort to include students in music. They have started piano keyboarding classes, they have guitar classes, they have their traditional classes, band, choir, and orchestra. They also have music technology classes, and so I think they've been a really amazing team with great administrative support, and I can just tell you that Caitlin's group, a cappella, really showed that it's a shining star of a music program at Fort Collins High School. So congratulations, Caitlin. Stay here, stay here. I'm going in order of performances from the conference. So we have an amazing, really different group that performed, and it is the combined men's choirs from Kennard and Preston Middle Schools. So if I could invite up Scott Wheeler from Kennard and Jean Johnson from Preston. These two are fabulous longtime music educators in our district. Both have taught elementary music. Jean was at Riffenberg and Scott was at Trout, and they have moved on to teach middle school. And have done an excellent job of it. They both have excellent programs on their own, but I know that even during the times when they weren't preparing to go perform at a conference like CMEA, they've done a lot of collaboration, and they've decided to get their men's choirs together. It's no secret that in choir, there are always probably twice as many girls or women as there are men or boys in the choir, and so you often can't do like a true men's choir performance with the type of music literature that you would like to do. And so these two have gotten their boys together and collaborated together to put together a combined men's choir, and it was amazing to hear them perform at the conference. The logistics of putting a group together just from one school takes a lot of work, but to combine it from 2 schools, have rehearsals, have teacher exchange days, I know it took a lot of support from their administrators as well, and they're both here today, so thank you for supporting your programs and supporting this collaboration to give a really special opportunity to these young men and also to the audiences who don't often get to hear that type of literature performed by middle school young men. So congratulations. Rocky Mountain High School has a long tradition of excellence in their music program. First tonight, I would like to invite, fresh off a plane from New York, Elizabeth Hohweiler up. She made it, and we're glad to have her here. Hers was the one performance at CMEA that I could not attend because I had my own presentation with my 4th grade students at that time. And I'm so sad that I had to miss it because her groups are always phenomenal. And from everything I've heard, that was the case this time as well. At Rocky Mountain High School, the music program is very strong, and they have gone out of their way to make it so that students can be in both choir and band, or choir and orchestra, or more than one choir. And that's a challenge because they're on a true block schedule. And so the students have 4 classes, and if they want to be in music, it's a fourth of their schedule all the time. So I think that it's a real testament to their program that they have such strong ensembles, because we'll recognize Elizabeth, but then we're going to be recognizing another ensemble from Rocky that also performed at CMEA this year. So while I didn't get to hear the performance, I know that the Rocky Mountain Echoes Chamber Choir had a fabulous concert, and they're an amazing group, but they are as amazing as they are because of their amazing director. So Elizabeth, congratulations. So Chris Thompson, who is also a choir teacher at Rocky Mountain High School, brought his group, Prima Voce, a women's choir. I was able to hear their performance, and it was beautiful. It was just a wonderful performance. I work closely with Catherine Saylor, who is the director of choral studies at DU, and she was in the concert, and she said, "Will you please connect me with Chris by email so that I can talk to him about having his women's choir come and sing with the Colorado Ballet for the Nutcracker?" So I don't know if they'll make that trip down to Denver, but I know that she was certainly impressed, and we all are. So the same things are true of Chris's program that are true of Elizabeth's. They face those same challenges and have a really excellent performance. So congratulations, Chris. With all these choirs, you might think, well, do we only have choirs in Fort Collins and in Poudre School District? The answer is no. We had Corey Peterson and Poudre High School's Jazz Band 1 give an amazing performance, so if Corey would come on up. I know at Poudre, they have, again, an excellent administration that supports music. Kathy McKay's here tonight. I know she has worked closely with their music department on grants. They were a recipient this year of the new PSD Music Innovation Grant from Bohemian Foundation to create a keyboard lab so that there would be another music opportunity for their students at Poudre High School. And I was really happy that I was able to attend the jazz band concert on Saturday morning. It was a 45-minute concert. Despite being a musician, I'm not the best concert goer, but I sat there and it was over and I was like, that didn't even seem like 45 minutes because it was so entertaining. It was really wonderful. I had a couple of former students in the group, and it was so amazing to see them continuing with their music performance. There were guest artists who just blew the audience away, and it's an audience that's seen a lot of good performances. So, Corey, you should be really proud, and congratulations.
So on behalf of the board, I want to thank you all for the work that you do with, with our students and all the music educators in the district. I know it's quite an honor to go to CMEA. I had the excitement to go as a parent of a student to one of those performances. It is exciting for the students, and it is an honor for them and for you. And so thank you very, very much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you all so much for your support.
All right. I would now like to welcome Assistant Superintendent of Elementary Schools, Todd Lambert, to speak to Poudre's award for the English Language Proficiency Act Excellence Award from the Colorado Department of Education.
Thanks, Madeline. It was great just to watch this music group come up here. I don't know, one of the things I noticed having the combined choir at Kennard and Preston, and then seeing how they greeted each other and shared in their accomplishments is a sign of a great team. So one of the things I get to do tonight is talk about another great team, and I won't spend too much time with that because their leader's going to come up and provide the details. But the language, culture, and equity team that's here tonight and sitting all back there, and they can raise their hands and wave. There's a whole bunch of them here. Only one of them was brave. Come on, you guys. This is another true team in our district that's had a lot of success. They're guided by their love for their students. They'll do anything that needs to be done to take care of them. and the results show that. And we're just super proud of them. And I know, as I said, their leader's going to come up here and talk a little bit about that. Second thing I want to point out is they do have a leader, and he's really strong. And I like to give him a hard time sometimes. He's over there, but he's done a lot of great work since he's been here. That department continues to move forward. They hire great people. They do smart work. They take care of everybody in the system, and we're awful proud of them. So I'm going to introduce John McKay, who is our Director of Language, Culture, and Equity, to share some good news with you. John?
Good evening. Well, it's certainly a privilege and an honor to be in front of you today. This is a plaque that we received earlier from the Colorado Department of Ed for what we consider a high achievement for the English Language Proficiency Act Excellence Award. These grants are given to districts that get the highest growth in, academic growth and achievement in 3 different categories, and that is in math, for CMAS, as well as English, and then access testing. So out of out of the state, we have 4 districts that receive this grant, and we are one of them. And so that's quite a big accomplishment. The grant was given to us for $116,000, and so it's really a diverse amount of dollars to be able to provide incredible programming. But I can't stress enough that our staff are the ones that really make this work. When I talk about the heart and the minds of children, it really is the caretakers that see them every single day that make this happen for us. And I really believe that they're kind of our warriors of hope. They're the ones that really symbolize inclusive practices and really advocacy for kids and cheerleading and seeing the greatness in kids when other people don't. And so we've come a long ways, and that's due to the leadership of Dr. Lambert, Dr. Smizer. We are a collective whole, and it's because of our great community. We do a lot of things like Camp Soul, which is supported by the Bohemian Foundation, and lots of different activities. We go above and beyond, and we really are interested in that Foundations for Success. As of today, we have 56 different languages represented here in Pruder School District. The highest is Spanish, then Arabic, and then Mandarin Chinese. And it really is all these different areas that we want to foster and look at being an English language learner and consider that as an emerging bilingual student, and seeing language development as an asset. In the real world, as we like to say, it's something that's absolutely an asset, and what employers really believe is the most important skill to have is being able to communicate with multiple different stakeholders and communities around the world. So we're really proud of this, but the work's not done. And the road ahead is really just focused on teaming and making sure that we're having real conversations about kids and how to support them collectively as a whole child and provide as much access and opportunity. When we think about the music programs that you heard of this evening, we do have programming at Fort Collins High School, and they do break down barriers for all kids to be involved. I know Melissa is a leader in that. She has conversations with our team saying, how can we get so many more underrepresented populations involved in different activities? So I commend you for that as well. So we really appreciate the great work. If I could have all the ELD teachers come on up, ELD staff, I would just like them to be recognized, because this is simply, the warriors that are in the trenches with our kids every single day. They're the hearts and minds and the stories that really inspire us to continue this great work.
So on behalf of the board, I would like to thank you all for all of your hard work. And thank you, John, for all of your hard work. Personally, I understand how important it is, the EL program. My oldest granddaughter started kindergarten not speaking English as her first language. So I personally understand how important it is that services are given to these kids early, and that they're valued, and that they're shown that they're valued. And when they gave me this certificate to give to you, John, at the bottom of it here, it said Excellence Awardee. And I thought about how great it is for us to receive awards, the school district to receive awards. But what this really means to me, when I read it, is about all of the kids that have received services, all of the kids who felt valued, and all of the kids who are going to be successful now because of the intervention that you've given them. And I thank you for that.